Who's closing this today?
Richard and Brittany.
I do remember that vaguely.
You know what we need to do now?
We can just leave it on. Just leave it on. I'm gonna vibe out. Christian has a real vibe today for everybody that's not paying attention. Christian's vibe today is like
chopping wood, maybe?
Somewhere in between lumberjack and ice fishing.
Okay. I'm about that.
I think your ice fishing vibe is like, you button it up, and then when you come inside, you grab a beer out of the fridge, which doesn't even make sense. Like, why is there a fridge in an ice fishing room? But anyway, all right. I'm done with that.
We need it. I'm getting Liv into Goose, so now we got to change the intro song to Goose.
I'm just going to start calling it like Swan. For everybody that doesn't know, Christian used to be a deadhead. He's changing his Instagram handle to Christian at Goose, but
Yeah.
Whatever.
I'm bringing Jeff along with me. He's already there, but like for music purposes.
Well, right. That's his.
He's about it though. He loves Goose too. It's happening. The world's changing. Goose is taking over.
That Jeff has a cheater. Like Jeff has like he has to.
He's like biased.
Yeah, right. Biased. There you go. All right. So, I can't help it. There's fucking. I get it. It's a sexy headline. I can't help it. It's not gonna fucking change shit.
Dude, I was thinking the same exact thing in the car.
I just can't.
And dude, you tell the people what we're talking about first.
All right. So, last week, I don't know the legalities of it all, right? The ruling came down that National Association of Realtors, big head honcho, basically like the union of realtors, lost a lawsuit for $1.8 billion against, it was like a group of people in Missouri or something like that. Kansas, Missouri.
Was it just that?
It was like a group of people, almost like a class action type suit. Okay. And then because of that, then there was the jury was able to assign a value, like a payout value. So they lost the $1.8 billion lawsuit, but then the jury assigned a value of $5 billion payout.
So something that I was thinking, and everyone that's coming to this like headline or whatever it may be is like, oh my God, like, I don't want to say fuck realtors, but like, fuck realtors, they're stealing our money, blah, blah, blah. They like, cheated us out, all these things, right?
Right.
And like, we look at that 5 billion or 1.8 or whatever the number may be that you want to tie it to. Mm-hmm. And I just think about how much more money did a real estate agent get you for the sale of your home than if you were to sell it by yourself.
Yikes, Christian going after the super literal. There's statistics that do show that
100%. And if someone can get you 5% more on your home,
right?
And what's 5% of 400,000?
So there's statistics that show that for sale by owner sell for 5% less than homes that are sold in the marketplace. And there's no question that value is there. And there's a lot of reasons for that. But here's the thing to take away. It's actually not to hire a real estate agent. Truth be told, the takeaway from that statistic is that if you take away commissions, if you allow this lawsuit to dictate real estate commissions, what's going to end up impacting is the value of the home. It's actually not going to say that, you can save money. It's proven the value of the home is materially impacted. Think about it, people. You have so many parties involved. The appraiser is going to evaluate the home differently if there's no real estate agents involved. It's a proven statistic. You can't take that away from anything else.
100%. And like, shit, what was the other argument I had or thing that I was thinking of?
One argument.
No, I had a couple, but it was like, you pay for this service for a reason, right? To get a higher price for your home, to sell, you like want a trusted advisor for selling your home, for purchasing your home. Think if you didn't pay that agent, I don't know, let's just say the number is 6%, right? Or both parties, depending on what state you're in. And you paid them 3 or 2.5 or whatever. It's literally you pay for what you get, right? So these agents are like setting their value. This is what you're paying, and in return, you're getting your home sold at a higher price. It's the same. I'm trying to think of what I fucking thought about it in the car. It was like,
well, I think you hit the nail on the head, right? The agent that's setting the value. And so the question that you need to ask as a buyer is, what is the value? And I have a buyer that's challenging me right now, having nothing to do with this lawsuit. Why would I hire you versus somebody else? And I told him, you wouldn't.
Yeah.
And he was like really confused. And I said, look, other agents are telling you that they're going to be able to negotiate for you, or they're going to be able to do this, or they're going to be able to do that. And he says, yeah, they told me that they wouldn't charge me commission or something like that. Right. Or this agent told me that they were going to negotiate. They were going to save me up to $12,000, blah, 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 blah. And I was able to challenge him and help him understand exactly where that $12,000 comes from. present to him how these other agents are putting numbers on the page and pretending like they're going to be able to do something, which is exactly his fear.
Yeah.
And I said the difference between two agents is intangible.
Yeah. Yeah.
I can't show you why to hire me. I can't show you the numbers. All I can do is take my experience, my expertise, and show you what I will do for you. If you value that, you'll hire me. And here's how I'm going to get paid.
Right.
I'm going to get paid by the compensation that's advertised in the MLS. I'm going to get paid by the agreement that you and I have. I'm going to have standards to my business and an expectation with which we run. And I'm going to show you as to why you're going to pay that added benefit that maybe it doesn't even cost more or less than another agent.
Yeah. Yeah.
I want to demonstrate my value.
Yeah.
And that's the piece that, like you said, hey, when you hire an agent, yeah, you're paying an extra 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 15%. But the key is the value that that agent brings. And that is the disparity here. That's what this lawsuit shows, is that people don't understand the value, and real estate agents buy in whole are taking advantage of that. And they're saying, this is what we charge.
And I don't want to defend one side or the other. No. I try to take it like, play devil's advocate on everything. I think from the consumer's mind, or like how they see all of this, like they're, I don't say being like taken advantage of, but like if you dive into like how we got here in the first place, I feel like a lot of it is down to just real estate systems. And it's nothing that you or I can control. It's something that has to do with NAR, all these bigger brokerages, but it doesn't have anything to do with like I don't want to say the individual agent, because maybe sometimes, but like as a whole, it's the systems that are put in place and not something that I'm enforcing on people. Right.
I agree.
This is how we run our business, right? We have a certain standard commission that we charge, or that I, Christian, will charge, Mike, Frank will charge.
Right.
But then why are we acting this way, or why is it why are we doing it in this way? Like, why is it this system?
Well, and
right?
But here's a good example is like why, right? So I have a client that just went under contract. Congratulations to Rafiq and Kareem for buying another property. They are under contract on this house in Federal Hill. And in their mind, they're like, oh, anybody can get us into the house. And I agree. Anybody can get you into the house. You're not paying me to get you into the house. You're paying me to negotiate. You're paying me to have the relationship. You're paying me to engage with the listing agent, to access the lockbox, to walk through the door, to schedule the time that the sellers won't be home, so on and so forth. And then you go under contract. And now you get a dedicated transaction manager. You have a team of people behind you. Like, you're not paying for fucking one person to show a house. It's not so simple. And wait, sorry, rant, but it's not... It's not that I'm against this lawsuit. The lawsuit is correct. NAR should have lost this lawsuit. There's no question. It's going to change the way that we present information. It's not going to change the cost.
And when you hire a real estate agent like me or Mike or anyone on our team, and they can vouch for it too, but like, we got your back. Like, we're going to fight for you, right? And I'll just give you an example. Thomas Dang, when we wrote his contract, he had a home inspection, wood destroying insect, and like a well or a septic. He wanted to add a well inspection. He wanted to add a chimney and a pool and all these other things. And we didn't even have them on the contract when we submitted it.
Right.
But it's like the skillful agent will help him get those other inspections. And then we didn't have the right to ask for any repairs from those inspections.
Yeah.
But guess what? We asked for things from the chimney inspection. And we were able to address his concerns. And so that's why you hire me, because we're going to fucking battle. We're going to fight, and we're going to get the things that matter for you.
And here's something to keep in mind. One of the smarter people in real estate in Baltimore, he's an attorney. He owns a title company. He's very, very well respected. And I'm not going to throw anybody into the bus because I don't care about your opinion. But this guy was speaking publicly, and he said, look, it's not going to change anything because the cost what it costs, right? The Coca-Cola that you buy at the store costs $1, right? And it costs $1 because the seller, the person behind the counter, was selling it to you. And it costs $1 because the person that brought it there, the truck driver, is bringing it to you. And the person that advertised for it, the marketing company, is marketing for you, right? And the cost of the billboard is included in that cost of that Coke. That's what it costs, right? So the buyer's agent that educates you and helps you get through the process, that is a cost of doing business. Now, here's the caveat. A Coke doesn't cost the same price everywhere. It costs less in certain markets. It costs less at certain venues. It costs less at certain opportunities because they can buy in bulk or other things. But a Coke can cost a lot of money if you elevate the place in which it's distributed.
Yeah.
Right? Because the cost of getting it there is expensive. And the buyer's agent is merely the truck driver bringing the Coke to the store. You don't acknowledge that because under this logic, you walk into the grocery store, you pick up the Coke, but you fail to acknowledge all of the things that went into play to get that Coke in your hands. It's the cost of doing business. And if you try and say, oh, the truck driver doesn't deserve to get paid, it's the same thing here. Now, caveat, the buyer's agent should bring value. And they should be able to accentuate that value. And they should be able to request the seller to compensate them for that value. The seller should not be obligated to pay a buyer's agent a particular fee. And I understand that perspective, and that's what this lawsuit is about.
Yeah.
The lawsuit alleges that the sellers were misled to believe that the compensation that they were paying their agent was to go towards their agent. And they were not of the understanding that they were compensating the quote unquote other side. The failure is that people fail to acknowledge that we are cooperating agents representing different parties and their intentions, but cooperating to make this happen.
And let's say you didn't pay the buyer's agent. And let's say the buyer now had to bring more money to the table to pay for the buyer's agent, which in some cases people do. Like people charge a fee for their service, but if entirely the buyer had to cover another 3%, do you know what would happen to your home's value? Do you know how much money you would now walk away from with the sale of your home?
Right.
I can almost guarantee you it would be less than what you're walking away with now.
Well, and
it wouldn't be more.
Go down this road, you go down the road of the God, I hate I'm going to say this, but I'm going to say it anyway. You'd go down the road of the underserved public, right? Yeah. Because the people that this impacts the most are the people that don't have the capacity to do it.
Yeah.
They don't have the knowledge. They don't have the understanding. They don't even know that they don't know. And so the people that this impacts the most are unfortunately the first generation home buyer. And I mean the first generation home buyer, not the first time home buyer. I'm talking about the person whose family has never owned property.
Yeah.
They've never been raised in a property that they've owned or developed. They've never had the opportunity to learn about maintenance and improvements. They don't even know what a home inspector is. And by cutting out commissions and the opportunity for a buyer's agent to be there to represent the buyer, you're creating another failure failing the underserved public. And shame on me for having gone down this road, but it's true. And I think that
you can't neglect it.
It's what you said. It's the opportunity for your selling price to be impacted. It's such a arrogant and self-imposed value proposition that my price is impacted. No, what about the person that you're selling the home to? And this is a big thing for investors. There's a lot of investors that get out there that try and cut corners and save money as much as possible. Yep. That's why investment homes have gotten a little bit of a bad rap. But there's tons of investors that go into properties, deep dive into electrical, deep dive into plumbing, make sure that they do the extra things that aren't even seen, because they just believe in providing the buyer with a great opportunity, whether the buyer knows it or not.
Yeah.
I mean, I have seen investors come back to properties a year, 18 months, even farther after selling the home to help the buyer make improvements because they believe just that inherently about the value of the product that they put out. If you take away the opportunity for the buyer to have that level of protection, you're just taking away the opportunity to improve all of the American population.
And like everything, we woke up today and wanted to speak facts. That's the language we chose, right?
Yes.
But even if you like, some people don't want to acknowledge the point that you just made, right? If you just look at it from like a selling point, every person that's going to sell their home, unless they pass away, is going to buy a new place. Almost every single person, right?
Right.
So if it doesn't affect you on the selling point, what do you think is going to happen when you come back around?
But this goes back to the buyer's agent failing at their opportunity to educate their consumer to the value.
Right.
So the profound change, it's so interesting. The profound change of this lawsuit is actually, in my opinion, not going to be cost. The profound change is not going to be sellers paying for buyer's agent's commission or therein. I believe that that'll still happen. The Coke still costs what the Coke costs.
Yeah.
Right? Basically, what's happening is there's just an uprising. Sellers are on strike. That's all that's happening here. Sellers are on strike. Truck drivers are on strike. It doesn't mean that we're not going to have the Coke in the store. It's just going to change the cost of the product.
Yeah.
And what's going to ultimately happen is the profound change is that we're going to be educating more consumers, which is a good thing.
It is.
This lawsuit is a good thing. And I don't think anybody's going to get paid for it. I think what's going to end up happening is we as agents are going to have to elevate our value and deliver on the promises that we will educate our community.
I also think this as like, and I don't want to turn it so it's not really facing, it kind of is consumer facing, I guess, but like,
this is for me.
we talked about this the other day, dealing with agents who aren't great, right? I feel like having this, I don't want to call it objection, but new task of explaining to people, like, here's what we are, here's what we do, and here's how we're going to do it. And bringing the value, bringing the support, and understand that I got your back, you got mine, and we're going to get you the best fucking deal. Like,
Or the worst deal. Or the worst deal.
Sure.
Maybe that's what we're going after. Don't take that out of the potential.
Yeah.
It's true. And I'm not trying to be sarcastic.
No.
I'm being serious. It's possible that perhaps the worst deal is the one that benefits the seller the most.
Yeah. But what I'm saying is, shit, I forgot. Oh, it's going to weed out these shitty agents, and excuse my language.
No, it won't.
You don't think so?
No.
I think they'll have a more difficult time getting the deals that they want.
I think the challenge is that this is such a relationship business that the reason that we have challenges in working with other agents is because they fail to get better at their craft.
Well, that's what I'm saying. And hopefully this is going to weed out those people, or they're not going to be as elevated in their business,
Perhaps.
or on the same level as every other agent.
Yeah.
And I don't like wish bad things on these people, but this is something that we see day to day.
The challenge that I find is that we work in an industry full of people that are every other industry's arrogant, egocentric maniac. And I don't mean that in a bad way. That's not a bad thing. It's a fact, right? Like, you know, the most arrogant, egocentric maniac in financial world is the person that's at the top of the mountain, right? Yeah. The problem is that getting to the top of the mountain as a teacher is really, really hard. Yeah. Financially, emotionally, logistically, it's tough. And I have so much respect. I was raised by teachers. Like, I understand that. It's not for everyone. So to create an industry that gives a teacher, a financial planner, a nurse, a doctor, a dental technician, a hygienist, a construction worker, they give them all the same opportunity for success. And so we have these people that believe that they're better and they can do more than their cohorts, not in a bad way, just in a fact. Like, I'm a construction guy. I dig ditches for a living. I can do more than this. What can I do to improve my quality of life? I'm going to go be a realtor. And that is the fucking beauty of this industry.
Yeah.
The challenge is that you have all these people that believe that they're the shit, and respectfully.
Yeah.
Right? So they believe that they're the shit. That's why they got into the industry. That's why even deep down inside, I might not agree with it, but I think that that's true of myself, of you, of everybody.
Yeah, right. Everyone has a little bit of it, right?
And then you put up a big fucking wall. Imagine if you did like a fucking marine obstacle course at a real estate convention. Every single person would either be like, fuck, I'm climbing that wall, I'm running through that mud, I'm doing this thing.
I'm running through the wall.
There's no fucking middle ground in our industry.
Yeah.
There's nobody that's like, oh man, I'm going to try. I'm going to get out there and try, because try is just failing, right? We have people that are fucking climbing the motherfucking mountain. Shout out to Chris, like literally climbing Mount Everest. And then you have people that like, nah, fuck that shit. I'm good. I'll drink my martini here on the starting line. And so we have these people that just want to get better inherently. And then these other people that their ego, their arrogance is so strong that they don't want to improve. They just, fuck it.
Yeah.
And that's why we have this challenge in our industry.
And like, they don't want to take the time to understand or hear out the other side, right? Like, there's so much like, again, it's either run through it or sit there and drink your fucking or climb it and drink your martini. They don't want to hear each other out. And I can think it could go for both sides, right? You know, but it also, I think, still comes down to a lot of systems that real estate has in place, right? Which I feel like there's not enough.
Well, and I agree. And there's too many opportunities for the disparity between big and small. And what I mean here is you have big companies, and I'm not throwing anybody to the bus, but you have like Berkshire Hathaway, you have Intero, you have Coldwell Banker, you have, you know, even Corcoran is a big fucking company at this point, right? Mm-hmm. Big company. And then you have individual agent. individual, self-employed, 1099 contractor of big company. So big company says, this is what you do. And then individual agent goes, okay, this is what I do. Right. And there's like this big disparity between like the front line and the bigger companies that are sort of setting the standard.
Yeah.
I just think that the community of people, we need to educate. The real estate agents, we need to educate. The people that are buying, selling, and investing need to understand who they're hiring. And I will throw out that I am better because of our admin staff. My marketing is better because of our marketing department. My sales team is better because of the constant evolution of our sales skill. We're not better than anybody else. I mean, fuck, there's a lot of great agents out there. Yeah. But it's the constant evolution and improvement. And what I wish that we could give people like a day in the life of more commonly, right? I don't know. The industry as a whole has a cavity. And that's what this lawsuit represents, is this cavity that's never going to be filled because they're not going to pay out this money.
Right.
That's just my personal opinion. Yeah. There's not going to be a $5 billion payout. But what I hope, and I'm going to plead to Maryland Realtors right here, I hope that Maryland Realtors creates forms and creates expectations that the buyer's agent is going to put in front of the buyer and say, this is the commission that we are requesting from the seller side at the time of writing this offer. And then the seller side presents it to the seller and says, yes, we want to pay this commission because it's going to protect you. It's going to protect the buyers as well. It's going to be a value add that you engage. And the seller says, why? Thank you so much. And we literally sign off on it rather than it being behind closed doors, this idea, this veil of clear cooperation.
And just so everyone listening knows, there is no document like that currently exists.
I mean, right, but perhaps a better way to say it is there's no document that's widely utilized.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
These things exist and we have opportunities to use things, but it's not become commonplace. I remember, and you don't remember this because we've always done it this way. I remember when listing agents would ask or require a copy of a check.
For the EMD?
Yeah. So they would require a copy of the check and my buyer would say, I don't have checks. Right? Or better yet, mom would write a check for the buyer, but then the buyer wouldn't actually use it. They would go deposit money into a bank and wire transfer it because they're fucking 20 something. Yeah. Or even better, I would go, hey, do you have a copy of a check? And they go, no. And we'd be like, all right, well, let's just Google a copy of a check, print it, write on it, and then send it to me. Like, it fucking matters. It doesn't fucking matter.
Yeah.
So now, years later, they've literally changed the entire Maryland real estate contract to acknowledge this new reality. That's the same thing that we need to do here.
Yeah.
We need to acknowledge the new reality and present people with the understanding and the expectation. By the way, I breezed over clear cooperation. For anybody that doesn't know, clear cooperation is an agreement between brokerages. So Berkshire Hathaway, Keller Williams, whatever, Coldwell Banker. There's a clear cooperation agreement amongst the brokerages within the multiple listing system that says if you use this multiple listing system and you bring a buyer, you are entitled to this much commission. Cooperation, clear cooperation to eliminate things like, the isms. So
yeah.
Doesn't matter what it is.
How come like MLS isn't brought up into this argument?
Well, they are.
Have they been?
They are. And they're going to be. And it's going to change. But like, how does the MLS change first?
Yeah.
They can't.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But the key to the clear cooperation concept is that you are bringing a buyer to my listing. And I have already advertised that we're going to pay you this much money already in advance. And so you don't really have to like earn it. Right? And if you were offering $500,000 on my $500,000 listing and somebody else was offering $515,000 on my $500,000 listing, of course I would rather take the $515,000. But what if you were offering $500,000 with a 3%, commission, however you write it in, and I don't want to use big words, right? And then someone else was offering $515,000 with a 6% commission. Well, you guys are offering the same amount of money.
Right.
And all of a sudden it changes things. But plus it changes the way that appraisers are going to be working because there's going to be a line item for compensation on the appraisal. There's going to be a line item for is there a buyer's agent involved or not? Because truth be told, it changes the value. And so if we can start to set an expectation that the value of the house includes the cost of the commission and the compensation, which it does, and anybody that says that it doesn't is wrong, because you got here through the value being what it were, with the cost being what it were. The value of the house is different in Baltimore County than it is in Baltimore City because of the cost of taxes, period. I don't care what anybody says. Schools, yes. Value, community, all these things. I get it. Cost of taxes is the biggest driver for why values are different in Baltimore County versus Baltimore City. Whew.
I feel
it's
like
Chris's fault. I'm shouting out to Chris. This fucking water bottle is the shit. It looks like just a glass water bottle.
Who's Chris?
Chris Wade.
Oh shit! Shout out.
It's a double insulated glass water bottle.
I like how it's clear.
Well, it's glass, right?
Well, okay.
But it also has a filter insert. So I literally did like pour over coffee direct into the water bottle.
Oh shit!
And then I lifted the filter out, and now I can drink coffee.
What, like, can you open it? I want to look.
Yeah. Well, there's no filter in here right now because you would see.
Is it just like a coffee kind of filter, or is it like a Brita type filter thing?
Nah, like a French press type filter.
Oh, okay.
Like it drops in and you pour over.
Have you seen those?
And you lift it out.
No. Now that we're on topic of filters, have you seen where people pour like Tito's through a Brita filter, like jug thing?
And have you seen my little face in a beauty plus filter?
No. What? I don't know. What
Just saying.
I don't get it.
Anyway, yes, I have seen.
And it supposedly like removes almost all the alcohol, like taste.
I've heard of and seen these things, especially back in my time.
Is Chris actually climbing a mountain right now?
No, Chris Wade got me this water bottle, and it's direct pour over, and it's a lot of caffeine. So it's Chris's fault.
That is cool.
It's also the fault of the American public that we get into these perspectives.
You know what's also
these arguments? By the way, there's a lot of really fucking good real estate agents in Maryland. Like I can think of a whole bunch that I have so much respect for, and they deserve to be hired more than I do because they're better than me. But I don't think that they're 200 times better than me. I think the thing that separates the top 20% is the top 20% is fucking so much better than the bottom 80%. That we need to get those people into that higher percentage. We need to get that 20-80 perspective to be more like a 60-40.
Yeah, but it's going to take it would take so much work, right? And it starts not just with like the individual agent, but it starts with the brokers. It starts with Maryland Realtors. It starts with NAR. Like for this bottom, like again, you have your corporation, your big company, and the individual, and like MLS, same thing in the middle somewhere. It has to start up here for it to get down here.
And the reason that I say NAR should have lost this lawsuit is because of that. Because I don't believe that at the core of the National Association of Realtors that the value is truly impacting the person at the bottom.
All they fucking do.
I agree with what they do, and I don't go down this road. They are the right organization for our people. Right. But
I just want them to stop selling my information.
Just like every big business, there's gaps and fail safes that they're involved. NAR needs to have major overhaul
100%.
At a very, very high level, creating more opportunity for what I think of as clear cooperation, what you people think of as clear cooperation, but it's not what the verb clear cooperation means. It's a noun in our industry, right? Like, so for me, I want to cooperate with every real estate agent out there, but I just want to prove my value to my client and have my client believe in what we do. And for those of you that are listening, I do believe that you believe in what we do because that's why we're here.
Right.
I just think that we need more subscribership, pun intended.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm really sorry about this.
Give
you the caffeine.
I already had enough caffeine today.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're going to be talking about this for a long time. And I think the biggest takeaway from this moment is to understand that we're in an evolutionary period as a community.
I think when you say community, I wouldn't say just agents, but I say as an industry.
Yeah, I'm just meant a community of real estate peoples.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
But I think we're in an evolutionary period as a community. It's not about TikToks and social media. It's not about being in front of people or dispelling good content. That's not what it's about. It's about bringing value to the person that's working with you. Use the TikToks and the social media to advertise and to bring them into your sphere. But when you're sitting down talking with them, do you know what you're talking about? Can you adequately answer the questions? And a better perspective might be, can you bring the question out of them that they're not thinking? So a seller, for example, is how much am I selling my home for and how much does it cost?
Yeah.
Can we bring out of them the value of their hiring process?
Yep.
When you're looking for a real estate agent, what are you looking for? How important is marketing for you? Maybe I'm not the right agent for you. We're heavy in marketing. How important is negotiation? How important is it for you to be involved in this process versus telling me your bottom line and making me go get something better?
Yeah.
There are different prospective people for everybody, but all we focus on is sales price and commission.
Yeah, because I feel like people don't know any better.
Sellers.
Could be buyers.
Oh, I mean, I agree. I think far and away our whole industry is under prioritized.
Yeah. You know what's funny? Like when me and Mara are like walking the dog or going to get coffee, we always go down, like she lives on Hutchins Street, so that's always where we're walking. On one side, there's been a home that's been sitting there with a sign, this is for sale by owner, for probably 3 months now. Mm-hmm. I find it fucking hilarious.
Have you called them?
I want to. I have a picture of their sign.
Don't talk to me, Christian. Go call them and show them your value.
Yeah.
I had a really good thought. I remember what it was. The lack of prioritization of real estate is equal, and I think everyone can get behind this thought, is equal to the lack of prioritization in personal finance
that was good.
Higher education.
It was almost like the one episode of the podcast we had where people don't address things until they need it. They don't have a relationship with the realtor until they need it.
Of course.
They don't have a relationship with a fucking insurance guy until the tornado comes in and rips apart their home.
Right. And
they
then
don't
call
have
Geico looking for the solution.
And then they don't, and they don't have like a car person that they always go to when their car comes until it fucking breaks down. I am a culprit of this because my tire blew out. I didn't have fucking AAA. I didn't have a shop I wanted to go to. I was fucked. And then it made it so much more stressful, and I was just worried about it the whole time. But if you have these relationships, you have these people, you understand how it works, you're going to be in a much better place.
I think, so I've been reading a book from John Rockefeller. I've been making notes to my coach. And one of the things that kind of resonates here, it's sort of backwards, but too many people overestimate what they lack and underestimate what they have. Right? Overestimate what they lack and underestimate what they have. How does this play to your thought of like they don't get a real estate agent until they're not even thinking about what they lack?
Yeah.
Right? And they underestimate what they have. Well, what if you have a relationship with someone who can bring value to you? What if your dad has bought 7 houses in his lifetime? What if you didn't even know that he's bought 7 houses in his lifetime? Are you undervaluing that value that you have right at your fingertips? And we're not asking. We're not even taking the time to look into what we have. We're not taking the time to look into our cash and our cash flow and figuring out if we can afford to buy a house or a bigger house. Or we're not taking the time to create an opportunity with what we have, right? In our community, at our fingertips, maybe upgrading or upsizing or maybe investing. This is what we have.
Yeah.
And all we do is we go, oh, Fiji would be so great. Right? Like we don't look at what we have. We don't take opportunity to develop what we have. We only look at what we lack as the opportunity for our next. And people need to focus on what they have. Relationships with real estate agents, free seminars from real estate agents. Live Baltimore. How great of a resource, especially here in the Baltimore region. Even if you're not buying in the city, take advantage of the resource, right? Montgomery County has the same exact thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
I blame Chris. It's his fault.
You keep throwing Chris around, and I'd never know which one you're talking about.
Chris Wade.
Okay, there you go.
Chris Wade. Anyway.
It's about family.
Family. Nah, so we're going to be talking about this lawsuit for a long time. There's going to be an appeal.
We'll probably have another episode.
There's going to be a huge appeals process. If there is a payout, it's going to manifest itself in a way that's going to lead towards development and improvement. It's probably not going to manifest itself in a class action lawsuit, but it could. Who knows? We're going to be talking a lot about it. The biggest key takeaway from all of this is it's not changing how we do business. It's changing how the understanding of doing business will impact you as a consumer. And I think that's the biggest thing that people need to know.
Bang, bang. Gang,
Bang. Gang. All right, peoples. We will catch you guys real soon. We're going to be talking about this probably next week again. If you need anything, you know where to reach me at michael.frank___ on Instagram. Christian can be reached at Christian the Goosehead.
Christian the Deadhead for now until I change it.
And we will talk to you guys real soon.
Bye-bye.
What's up, guys? Thanks for watching. For more information on the housing market, Real Estate 101, how you can leverage your position in today's market, and so much more, click on the link below. If you like this video or have a burning real estate question you'd like us to answer, leave us a comment and let us know. Don't forget to like and subscribe so you never miss an episode, and we'll see you again real soon.